the S3 service. Once we are on the S3 service, we're going to be creating a bucket, and we're going to call it images-1160. We're going to leave the region the same and click Create. Now that we have the bucket images-1160, we're going to be creating a second bucket with the exact same name, but the suffix resize. Again, we're going to leave the region exactly the same and click on Create. So now we get to see that we have two buckets, one for the source image and one for the result image, which is expected to be a thumbnail version of it. In order to create a Lambda function, we are going to be navigating to the services and select Lambda. On the AWS landing page, we're going to be using the Create Function button. Now you get to see a number of possibilities here: author from scratch, use a blueprint. If we select blueprint, you're going to get to appreciate some prefabricated functionality for functions that are actually common, event trigger. And on the runtime environment, we're going to be selecting Python 3.7. Execution role, and we're going to be using an existing role. This role has been prefabricated as the Lambda execution role. And this role has access to the AWS Lambda service, Amazon S3 service, as well as Amazon CloudWatch service. And that will provision the initial step of our Lambda function. We get to see in the middle the create thumbnail function. So we're going to be selecting add trigger. And on the select trigger, we're going to be using S3. Now that we have selected S3 as the trigger configuration, we're also going to be selecting the create events. We're going to be selecting the recursive invocation and click on add. And click on add. See that we have a text editor in order for us to write our code from scratch. Our code has already been written, and in this particular case, we can actually use the actions button in order to edit it because the file is a little bit bigger, what is permitted. And we are resizing the image into a thumbnail, which is 128 by 128. This is all packaged on a zip file, including all of the support libraries in order to run this code appropriately. On the description, we're going to be using create a thumbnail size image. Now, a really important item here is the handler name. For the handler, we're going to be using create thumbnail handler. This is an important item, and we need to This will conclude the basic configuration of our function. Button, you get to see that we have an event template. On the event template, we're going to select Amazon S3 put. For the event name, we're going to choose upload. Now, in this particular